to Dream World Hotel, Resort and Golf Course is offering welcoming you to Asia's largest resort facilities.
DL began the operation from 2002. MCC Resources Development Company.
We strive to realize the balance of mining, concentrating and smelting with scientific and well-organized management in the mine production.
To achieve the goals and capacity efficient. How far
业集团拥有管廊、海绵城市、美丽乡村与智慧城市、主题公园、水环境、康养产队的历史责任，在基本建设领域锻造主力军的千手野人，用心。
Within the realm, we just need to have a smarter approach. There is a concept of smart hub or smart port, which basically talks about how ports can talk to each other, how they can share data on one dashboard, and they should use that data to deploy their capital in a much more efficient manner. So in efficient capital deployment, where one port has an existing capacity which is idle and the other port is spending more money to build the same storage facility or the same discharging facility, is inefficient capital deployment. A little bit of synergy that we can build between both the ports, between the authorities, that will help them deploy their capital in a better way and also make themselves much more efficient by building those synergies between themselves. Another initiative or another drive that we need to focus on is the impact of PNSC, the Pakistan National Shipping Corporation. The Pakistan National Shipping Corporation is a hidden gem that we must focus on. It is the only company in Pakistan that charges its freight in PKR. We don't have any other, if we want to pay for our shipping costs in Pak rupees, we don't have any other option except PNSC. So PNSC should be supported to increase its fleet so that it can cater to maximum energy import. Its focus is already on oil and crude oil imports that come into Pakistan. It should increase its fleet. We are trying to increase its fleet. We are talking about how PNSC should be allowed to procure second-hand vessels. It should be exempted from PEPRA rules so that it is able to increase its fleet, and we don't have to pay for our shipping costs in dollars. We pay for them in PKR. In fact, if we build excess capacity of PNSC fleet, PNSC will not only be able to reduce our shipping bill, it will be able to bring in foreign exchange by selling its freight and vessels to the foreign market. Also, if we are efficient and we build the synergies between our ports, we would also be able to benefit from low commodity prices. We all must remember when COVID hit, oil went down to $20, coal went down to $40. China and other countries in the region who had efficient energy supply chains, they bought commodities at very low prices, they stored them, and they benefited off them when prices were high. We've seen this same issue with us in LNG. When the prices are very high, we are unable to purchase them, and that leads to a gas crisis. So that is another thing that we need to focus on. The government's part, obviously, a little bit of activism, a little bit of synergy, sharing data, flow of information. I think platforms like NEMA are a great platform where all of these authorities, stakeholders can get together, share their views, help give a holistic view, a bird's eye view, rather than working in small pockets. We can share our information, we can share the data, and we can help spend less and become much more efficient. Also, incentivizing the private sector, and in the private sector, or I would always say that we should support local companies. PNSC is a great example of how a local company is benefiting us for the same services that we could have taken from international companies. That does not mean that we should discourage international investment or JVs, but local companies should be incentivized to build railway routes, shipping routes, terminals, ports, and multiple of those facilities, so that there is more competitiveness, and less monopolization, and the market should become more efficient automatically once there is more competition. So that would be all for me, and thank you very much for your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. It was an insightful talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, our fourth speaker of this session today is Mr. Louis Braille from Thales, and he will be talking to us about the port operations and the modern trend in the port operations. Thank you.
Mr. Lewis is currently working as the Regional Strategy and Business Development Manager in Thales Middle East. He started as a business and strategy analyst, cybersecurity, and later on worked as a digital transformation consultant. Then took the position of Regional Strategy and Business Development in Middle East. He has completed his master's from Sciences Po Lille and bachelor's from University of Kent. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Lewis, presenting his talk on importance of secure oceans and emerging trends in shipping and port operations.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to start my talk by thanking the organizers, or the organization of this event, which is a great example in hospitality and organization. And so before starting my talk, a very great thanks to the organizers. So, distinguished guests, honorable delegates, today I will be giving an overview of different trends in port operations. But before that, I will give also a brief presentation of what Thales is and what Thales does in the world. So just to start, Thales at a glance. So Thales is a French international company with over 80,000 employees, with in 2021 over 16 billion euros in sales worldwide. Out of these 16 billion, we finance 1 billion euros of research and development going into our new digital technologies, so artificial intelligence, big data, cybersecurity, and IoT and connectivity. And we're present worldwide, so in over 70 countries, and we're very proud to say that we've been present in Pakistan for over 50 years now, and we've celebrated 50 years last year, and I'm here to say that we're very proud of that. So we're covering overall the large markets of digital identity and security, defense and security, aerospace, space, and ground transportation. And in all these critical sectors, our job is in the sensing and gathering of critical data, transmission and communication of this data, storing this data, and processing it for better decision making in critical moments. So we're also a player in security and port operations, and here's a little glimpse of our flagship projects and some of our systems. So we've been instrumental in the Moani port in Qatar, where we've integrated all the security operation systems there, giving operators a bird's-eye view of everything that's happening in the port, from security operations to energy management. We're also present of the port of Marseille, where we've set up a collaborative platform powered by blockchain to secure the transaction and their veracity. And we're also present at the port of Antwerp, where we're deployed a cybersecurity solution to secure the transactions between some actors. And one of the platforms that we rely on for these systems is our advanced processing platform, which connects all the operational technology, IT technologies of these ports that can be in many different sites for operators to better detect, understand, decide, collaborate, and report about their operations, security, and energy management. And we're proud to have been awarded in 2021 a prize by Frost & Sullivan for being the most innovative platform in the industry. So to come directly to the topic about port operations, I'd like to focus on 4 talking points today, and hopefully that'll give you an overview of some of the trends that are going on in the industry right now. And I think it will give a more bird's eye view and complementary view on the previous talk that was very interesting as well. So my first talking point will be about digitization and automation. Second one on energy efficiency. Third one on security. And finally, public-private cooperation. And we'll see that this last point actually provides some insight about how we can handle some of the issues we're having in maybe the first 3 trends. So first of all, about digitization and automation, we have to understand, of course, that ports, most of the ports are capitalistic ventures, and 80% of international trade goes through them. And that means that they're bound by imperatives of operational and financial performance, and automation and digitization obviously play a large role in that operational and financial optimization. So the first step we've seen in the course of the last century is the development of electronic data interchanges. That was the first step, and the installation of terminal operating systems for better cargo handling. That was a great first step, which was followed in the beginning of the 21st century and still now by large automation of cranes and different conveyors. But today we've entered a new stage in automation and digitization because we're in the era of using new technologies such as artificial intelligence, IoT, and simulation, cloud as well, which radically enhance OT and IT performance. We're able to connect assets, to localize them and maintain them, which gives way to areas such as predictive maintenance. We're moving IT operations from on-premise solutions to cloud solutions, which makes it easier to use what we need in terms of infrastructure when we need it, which is a lot harder when we have on-premise solution. And one example I'd like to give is also simulation. And I think that's a great way to enhance port operation is the development of digital twins. And there is a concrete example in the last few years in the port of Livorno in Italy. So of course it's a smaller port, and such projects start in smaller scales because they're maybe easier to implement. But they've developed a full-scale digital twin of the port. That means that with the help of LiDARs, with the help of cameras, they've made a real-time digital twin of the port, which means that an operator can actually work from home and see from home all the different cargo, what's in it, where it should go, in order to optimize space, for example. And that has been awarded actually in the European Union by being one of the most innovative projects in terms of digitization and also energy efficiencies. I'd like also to talk about some challenges, however, and some limitations that come when we talk about digitization and automation, is that obviously we're still in a learning curve and we're in a test and learn approach. There is a development of artificial intelligence, and there's a big buzz around it, but we're still struggling to find some real-time use cases for machine learning, even though we're really good at gathering data from the past and making decisions out of that. It's really hard. Unlike the aeronautics sector, unlike the transportation sector, it's a lot harder to use real-time data because of the different data sources that are available. We'll talk about it later, but also one of the key challenges out of digitization is cybersecurity. And also, one last point is maybe the investment, and I'd say that it's also up to the industry to provide the strong business cases to give proof of value. Second talking point I'd like to address is energy efficiency and environmental protection. So it's undeniable today that the extreme economic activities of ports brings about adverse effects to the environment during construction of the ports and during their operations. So we see a trend in reducing emissions and reducing the impact on the immediate environment of the ports. Main trend we've seen throughout the years is